Well, what's the crack, everybody? How you getting on? You're all very welcome to episode 151 of Bookshot Podcast. How are you keeping? Of course, it's Tom O'Mahony here. Who else would you expect to be talking up the top of the podcast? What's the crack? So we breached 150. By Jesus, we're up to 151. Nicely gone. Look, turns out there's 260 podcasts, various podcasts on the old podcast page, I suppose you call it. I don't know. Between RamblePod and all the rest of it, there's 260 podcasts up there. So if you're new, Jesus, I've got some presents for you. Go back, have a gander. There's all sorts of people in there. There's me rambling, talking shite. There's smatterings of the Tom and Jerry show, but mostly it's me talking to nice folk. You know what I mean? From various backgrounds, from comedy to sports to singing to dancing to you name it. It's all in there. Go back, have a gander. You'll enjoy yourselves. There's a lot of cursing on my behalf. A lot of nice people other than that, but a lot of cursing on my behalf. Who's in? Yeah, one Google or Castbox, I think, are one of the only few that just show you all. As you zoom back through, it just shows you everybody. Apple's a bit of an asshole. It stalls and it's fucking. I think Spotify might let you roll on through, but I think Apple is the only one that shows fucking 5 at a time or something. So if you caught up or whatever, go back, have a gander, listen to it through something else. But if you are on Apple Podcasts, of course, give it the old 5 stars. Oh, by Jesus Christ. So, anybody, thank you very much for the nice comments. Actually, sorry, before I get to the oh Jesus Christ bit, thank you very much for the very nice comments. A lot of people really enjoyed herself on the podcast. I'd have her on more often, but she's like, Eric, go away. I don't want to be on that thing. As you would assume she would, because she's just a nice person. But I definitely think, I don't know, do I have time to set up another brand of a podcast? I don't know. I would maybe just do a lash of RamblePods, just a couple of weeks off guests and just do a lash of RamblePods with Natasha, just looking at the world and whatnot. Let me know. It would seem a lot of people really enjoyed it, the silliness of it. The video of that podcast is up on Patreon. So, 'tis there for Patreons. As I said, if you're a Patreon, you get all the videos and stuff early exclusive. So go have it, give it a look. If that's, if you prefer to just put it on over 8 in a bowl of cereal, as she slags me off for fancying the Golden Girls, give it a go. Of course, thank you very much. The bunch of people who were watching last night's Buckshot Sideshow, the game show that I have, we had the 4th episode was on last night. An absolute fucking ripper. It was a ripper. It's dark as fuck, foul as fuck, nothing. You have to understand, the reason why we go so hard at it is, number one, we know it's running live. And number 2, comedians need that way to talk to each other. We fucking need it, man. We're just ripping into each other. There's a semblance of it. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I created with Gordo Rochford. I created a game show, online game show. Now it isn't straight out Zoom where it's just a bunch of people. It's nicely blends together, cutaways to the team. We have text up on screen. It's as professional as we can do with the environment over 6 different houses, essentially. 6 different types of cameras, 6 different types of lighting, 6 different types of sound. It comes together pretty well, but there's a lot of us kind of slacking each other and saying horrendous things, because we need that. That's the way we speak to each other in the green room and stuff. So it does. You can see lads venting. But last night was an absolute fucking ripper. It got pulled and blocked. RT blocked it. Now, the world of... I get the war after every one of them. I'll get the world of copyright claims and stuff like that, and it won't be shown in fucking French New Guyana and stuff, places I've never even fucking heard of. And it's like, fine, no worries. And I can contest some of them too. I've contested a few of them. Go, oh, come on, will you? But... And I am going to contest this other one, but RT just straight up were able to block it. I don't know how the fuck they were just able to straight up block it. So, under a copyright claim. So I'm going to try and contest it, but they've blocked it on YouTube. So it is over on the Facebook page. If you're a Patreon, have a look at the Patreon page, because I put the Facebook link there. It's worth a look. If you haven't looked at it, it's definitely worth a look. It's worth a giggle. We'll be doing another one. It'll be either next Monday or next Thursday live. I'll let you know beforehand on all the usual platforms. You know what I mean? It was good fucking crack. Of course, there's been questions as to how to donate and stuff like that. Sound out to Dave, giving a shout out on the Patreon page himself. Jumped over and went, lads, we need to be slinging some dollars at this. We're venturing towards getting a new computer, proper built computer, and all the rest of it, so we can just pump out more fucking stuff. because I don't know when gigs are coming back. Everything keeps getting knocked back. Fucking even Gavin James, and that fucker could do no wrong. Even his gig got knocked back because apparently, look, we talked about this before. The cinema is absolutely safe, but stand-up comedy is lethal. So, you know, who knows when I'll be back on a fucking stage properly? I don't know. But for now, I'm going to continue if I can to produce more stuff for you. So it would help if you became, even if you're a Patreon only for 1 month. Do you know what I mean? It just means you sling in a couple of dollars. Doll hairs. If you have PayPal, you'll be in and out in fucking 20 seconds. If you don't, it'll take a tiny bit longer. And end it. End it when they take the $3 at the end of every month. Not when you even initiate. So they do. And which I've noticed a few people jump in for a minute. They get the exclusive stuff and they jump out at the end. It's a thing that happens on Patreon. What can I do? I don't know why they don't charge you up front. Fuck it. I don't make the rules. But 99% of people are sound out. They contribute because they know I'm producing stuff for people to enjoy. So there you have it. Nothing really else to tell you. There'll be more of Natasha. As you've looked for more of Natasha, there'll be more of Natasha. And yeah, I don't know what else. Hard Enough Podcast, we have another one. We're going to bank another one, hopefully either over the weekend or early next week. So it seems to be we're getting them out bi-weekly. Owen has a lot on. And I have enough fucking stuff going on. So if we can take away nicely with that, really, I think both of us are ready for do some fucking live shows. That's what we're really ready for. But look, who knows? We'll continue as we are. The videos for that all go over onto the Patreon page as well. So fill your boots, lads. I'm doing everything. Doing everything I can to try and fucking justify the Patreons. But sure, look at either way, maybe just share it. Share this podcast and tell everybody about it. What more? As little as that. On the old chatty snaps and all the rest of it, or whatever you're on. Give it a share. That'd be smashing. Right, that's enough of my shite talk. Moving on to today's guest. Today's guest, I met him in Edinburgh, and he's one of the soundest, nicest fellas. Just a lovely, lovely, lovely bloke. He's a comic from London. I've never actually asked if he was originally. I think he is originally from London, even though he lives in Essex now. He's just a smashing bloke. His missus, who chimes in, just to let you know, she chimes in a few times from the background, heckling him while he's on the fucking laptop, is Jade Adams. She's the host of, I think, is it Tasty Delicious? I'm a fuck. I didn't look her up because I was interviewing Rich, but I knew his missus. She's on telly and she's Emmy fucking nominated and BAFTA nominated, so she's got enough going on. But she seems like good crack. If she's going with Rich, she has to be good crack. He's got a brilliant podcast out now called Insane in the Men Brain. He talks about it, and now he's got a spin-off called Insane in the Fem Brain. Fucking brilliant. Very honest, straight up honest bloke. Fucking keeps nothing through the filter. Just fucking catalytic converter cut off at the joint. Exhaust is blowing straight from the fucking manifold. Listen to me talking like I know what I'm fucking talking about. Because I think I got very excited. I cleaned the throttle body and the EGR valve, and they came off and went back on, and it worked perfectly. So I feel like I'm a pure brute of a fellow altogether now at the minute. My advice to anybody, absolutely do it. Therapy, like you wouldn't fucking believe. If you drive a diesel car, I'll talk you through it one of the days. I'm an expert now because I've done it twice in my lifetime. Right. Enough of my shit talk. This was absolutely lovely. I could have talked all evening with this chap. Sit back and enjoy it. They're brilliant. Rich Wilson.
Good to see you. Look at that. It's hash, man.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? But it's got the same stylings as you. Is that's the cutoff point? You know,
yeah.
If you just left yours, you turn Walrus as well.
Yeah, man. I just let it blend in. But yeah, you're looking good though. You're looking pretty. I like that.
It's all this country air. I'm living out in the country now, so it's all this country air, man.
I see your Instagram and everything, and it's always looking good, man. It's a lovely place you got. Lots of space.
Yeah, it's only about like literally 20 minutes outside the city. If even, but like 15 minutes outside Dublin. And it just turns to immediate countryside.
It's beautiful. I love Ireland very much. It's very green, so green. Like properly green. Yeah, you know.
They take their industrial level farming fairly fucking seriously over here. It's like
really get stuck in.
Oh fuck yeah! How are you keeping anyway?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Yeah. It's, get the odd day where you go, whoa, where's everything gone? But just I just keep busy, and good. You're doing all right. Yeah. So it's all. I've been hooking up with a few comedians of late that I haven't seen for a while, with the gigs being gone.
And, funny that, isn't it?
Good, yeah. Isn't it weird? This is what we did, and then now we don't do it. It's fucking weird, man. Gone. And it's all right though, yeah.
Yeah, because even whatever about us, at least you had a fucking podcast and stuff, and you. But I was talking to like actor mates, and that's all they fucking did was act, and they're they're shitting the bed right now. You know what I mean? Like,
it's that. I had a moment yesterday when I was just sat there and I'm like, I have no money and I have no money coming in. Shit. And then it's like, okay. And because when this all kicked off, I was strangely zen about it. I was like, oh, well, I'll just go and get a job in a supermarket. I'll stack some shelves or I'll go and drive a van. But everybody did that. So I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I can't even do that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird one, isn't it? But we'll find a way. Nature finds a way.
Oh, it will find a fucking way. We'll just find a fucking field or something and just start shouting jokes at each other across a field. Something will come from this. Like,
I think that's how you know what sort of a person you are because when this shit hit the fan, you kind of like, okay. Some people panicked and went straight online. And we're sort of like, right, we're doing this now, and we're doing these online things. And then other people kind of took a step back and went, all right, well, let's just see what I want to do, what I can do, what my skills are at. You know, you kind of, I like I say, I was strangely zen about it, or I kind of chilled out, didn't rush straight into the online gigs, took my time.
Plus they're total shite. Like there's
But you have to. I think what I've learned is that you can't just do it as. I don't wait for the laughs. I just talk, or I'll fuck around with a mask or something like that. But it's more of a monologue. It's me just chatting, and hopefully the people that are watching are enjoying it. You know, it's all your skill.
We'll have to get you on. I started a game show, and I have a mate of mine. He's producing it on remotely as well. Like. Now his studio is fucking ridiculous. His podcast is called Those Conspiracy Guys. Like it's ridiculous the setup he has. So he's good with all this shit, and I'm very happy at delegating things. You know what I mean? If I'm not good at that shit, but he has a look. I'll send you on the link. It's like it keeps getting pulled stuff because we're fucking foul. It's pretty much an insight into the green room. That's what it is, with a loosely based game show tied in. So we get to vent and basically say foul things. Like Rory O'Hanlon was on. Rory O'Hanlon's opening line, I says, how's Rory O'Hanlon? You know, you're stuck in your bedsit in London. He just opening line was, I'm all out of cum.
Yeah.
So there was a through line through the whole show for an hour, basically, about poor old Rory and how he's been masturbating to dust at this stage. Like, and it was just that the whole way through. And it was fucking. It was just fucking liberating. It's like, because you can't be normal. You can't be that around normal people because they're not ready for that shit. Like,
oh, dude, I've had a few times where I've been talking to everyday people, and I'll say something that you know, like you and I would piss ourselves, and they've looked at me like I've just spunked on their kids. I'm like. Oh, yeah, no, I forgot. I'm in the real world now.
That shit doesn't wear. Wear. Yeah, there's a building site next door to us, and I was talking with a couple of the lads in there. And years ago, I used to work in construction, and I thought I was still, you know, tough, like these blokes, and like these fuckers. Oh, my God, you know, next level animals, like. And so one guy's kind of leaning on the fence, and he just growls when he speaks, like, you know, Rolly hanging out the side of his mouth, no shirt on, it's -6, you know, fucking no big deal. But he said something, I think he asked what I did. And I've never felt like such a knickers in all my life. As like, I'm a comedian. I said it with such wanker But I didn't even get to the N, and the guy was looking at me like, "Huh?
Yeah.
What?"
Oh, you're one of those fellas.
It was, but I'd said it's like I spat into the guy's mouth.
Yeah. They just, yeah. And you just have to kind of moonwalk away from the situation, like you've never said anything. You're like, anyway, I'll see you later.
Yeah, there was no. You have to fucking but
Oh, I've got to go and do man things over here, and the man things.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. So when you watch that show as a comedian, you'll watch that show and go, "Oh, I see what the lads don't give a fuck here. We've all taken down our trousers basically and just gone, well, let's just piss into this for the next fucking hour," with loosely based around a game show just to vent, just
Yeah. Sounds amazing. I love it. It sounds fucking great. I'm up for that. Absolutely.
Where are you? You're based all the time in London. Are you? What part of London are you in?
Well, we live in Essex, actually. We live down a place called Leon-sea.
Oh, yeah.
Near South End. Yeah. So if you've seen on the news all the idiots going to the beach in England, that's where it's literally out the window here. So we get to see all the gammons baking.
Just fucking licking each other and just passing on viruses. Yeah. Do you know how I know that place? I once drove a Lamborghini from Ireland to there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, when was this?
About 4 years ago. It was a UK company I used to work with every so often. And he used to host kind of corporate things here, but they also had an events company, or what would you call it? Kind of prizes, they developed prizes, crazy prizes for companies and stuff like that, but they also did experiences and stuff. So they did the flying, for your birthday and parachuting, but they also did Ferrari and Lamborghini driving. And they used to have me bring these fucking middle-aged blokes out in this car and talk like I'm a fucking expert. Of course, I would have Wikipedia'd everything,
On the way there. I'm a big fan of cars. For my son and I last year for our joint birthdays, we got my partner Jade Adams bought us an experience at Brands Hatch. And,
lovely.
I drove an Aston Martin and he drove a Lamborghini Diablo. Great.
Nice. What Aston Martin did you go for?
Can't remember now. I think it's about 5 years old.
No, could have been the DB8 or DB9.
I think it was a DB8. It was a DB8, and it was amazing because I wanted to drive a car that I probably won't end up driving ever or owning, especially now.
even regardless, and this is why I get more excited about old beaten up piece of shit. Like I have an old Land Rover Defender, and I got one. I was just before COVID. Now this thing needs some amount of fucking work. Got a load of work that I'll be YouTubing this till the end of my fucking life, but. But I realized that I won't, even if I could afford it, I will never buy a Ferrari or Lamborghini because now I know what it is to have one. Because while it wasn't mine, I know how people look at you, how they look at you now. So I have the full experience of driving around as if I own one.
I thought I saw you in a yellow Ferrari.
Yeah, that was one of theirs.
So I was like, so sorry, because I kept seeing the headrests. And I'm like, what gigs is this cunt doing? That's not Dongless Portsmouth, mate.
No, I did that yellow one. I had it down in Cork once, and I was doing City Limits Comedy Club, and I said it to the guy. I said, "Listen, I've got this fucking mental car. Can I put it out the back?" He was like, "Yeah, whatever." I put it out the back, and I was leaving. I said, "Listen, I got to go straight back to Dublin with this thing." I mean, imagine that: 1 a.m, Cork to Dublin, 200-mile journey, straight motorway.
Yeah.
But
there's only one policeman awake at that time.
It was, and it was only a small audience. There was maybe about 80 people in, and they were filtering out the door or whatever. And I was like, "Goodbye, good night." Went out the back door, got this thing, and you like the sound of this thing firing up. It's just ridiculous. But I had to back it out slowly, and it's a one-way street, so you have to go past. And all the people are queuing for their chips next door who'd just seen me, and there was two emotions on their faces: wanker and. How much were them fucking tickets?
Exactly. I remember doing a gig. I did a gig in I'm getting stared. What are you staring at? Are you heckling me? I get heckled. Jade Adams is a comedian as well.
Yeah.
She's giving me stick. She's always heckling from the sofa, if not with her words, with her eyes.
That's the thing I wanted to ask. Yeah, because your missus is a comedian as well. Like, do you just give each other shit all the time and not let each other off with anything? Like, because I can only imagine that's what two comedians would do.
No, we not so much. It's not as banterful as you'd think. Although there is, when we argue, there'll be things like, "Well, have you got an Amazon Prime special?" No, you don't. So put the kettle on and shut. I'm like, I do the Comedy Store. I've been doing it 15 years. She's like, yeah, but are you on Amazon? I'm like, no. She's like, jog on. Are you on Netflix? No. All right, well, jog on. Because Jade's on both of them. But yeah, it's good. It is good. There isn't any. There's no envy. There's no kind of like. It's not like you're not jealous of it. You know, you're like oh, you're doing well. It's like because we're both doing well in different fields. So we're very supportive of each other. Although it was a bit of banter now and again.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Here we go. we are in couples counselling.
I really want to go downstairs and bake a cake and have her judge it.
Yeah. We had the other day. We were at counselling, and we did this. What they do. The counsellor, she's got this room in the back of her upper garden, and we sit in opposite corners, and then she sits in the other corner, and the exercise at the beginning of the session is like, okay, so we do a listening exercise. So one of us goes first, and we talk about how we're feeling, and then the other one has to listen, and then we talk, and then we flip it the other way, and then we talk about what's been said, and we were getting into, and I was like, all right, so how are you feeling? So I started saying how I was feeling, and then Jade's in the other corner going, "Oh, boo-hoo!" I'm like, "What are you doing?" I was getting heckled in the therapy session.
He's going to turn up to therapy and not divulge stuff that's happened to him as a kid.
Yeah. It's always it always goes back to the parents, and I'm like, is it really? Are we doing that again? Yeah, it's nothing to do with being a lunatic. Yeah, I know. I've got a type. Lunatic.
This is taking a whole new level. This podcast. This is fucking class.
She'll be over in a minute. She'll chip in properly in a minute. No. Oh, now I've given her the in. She's like, no, I won't. No, I won't.
Yeah, she's a comic. Yes, she will. Is there somebody being entertained by that screen over there? I need to get in front of it.
That's what was happening. It's because we were laughing, and she kept looking over like, "Go on over there. What's happening over there? Why is there no laughter happening where I am?"
Yeah.
Oh, but so that wasn't your car then. Oh, I see. Right.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, like 14 to the gallon. You know. Just setting fire to your money out, just throwing it out the window, just ridiculous. But yeah. I do like the practicality of I did like the practicality of those Ferraris more so than the Lamborghinis, because the Lamborghinis have buttons everywhere. But I really like a car like the old Defender. You know what I mean? That you can, the fucking thing, you can fix it with a vice grips, and it's
I used to love that. I used to have a Mark III Escort.
Oh.
We live on there's a main road out the front, and it's roughly a quarter mile, and so all the fucking everybody we get Lamborghinis and all sorts, like they're just racing each other up here. So you'll get a bit of that. But I used to love going to the scrap yards, and you turn up in your car, and then you go, what do you need? You go, I need a starter motor for that, and then he'll say, oh, there's 3 of them over the back stacks, and then you'd have to climb through. Get it yourself with a socket set, and then you get it out, and you go to your car and you put it on. It won't work, so you go back in and you get another one. I used to love that, but you can't do that anymore. They got rid of all the stacks.
Yeah, there's one place left, and it's way out in the country. And this guy, I don't think even the police would try and shut this guy down. You go in there, and it's 1974 when you walk in there. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. Has he got a dog?
Oh, dog! Fuck me! You should see the size of this thing. Like, it's, I don't know what they're feeding it, but they're having on testosterone or something. But the last time I was in there, this guy had walked in from the yard, and he was a couple of his friends, and he'd pocketed something, and they'd caught him on the camera. Now he went and got what he needed to get. He got like a wing off her fucking Ford Orion or something old anyway. And he was like, the guy behind the counter was like 6'3", maybe 22 stone. Fucking face like a fucking cactus, and he just went, come here. You gonna pay for the things that's in your pocket? And I was like, there is nothing, and bang, that was it. And I mean, sparked him, and the two mates just scooped him up and took him out the door. And I was the only person out of like 10 people in the shop that actually looked shocked. Everybody else was like, well, that's just how it happens.
That's what we do here, and and it goes back to again us not being very manly, like you said with the carpenters, and again with the scrapyard guy. We're like, I got to go and do things.
I clutched my pearls, Rich. He was like, oh.
Yeah. I know. People say to me all the time, "You're so blokey and you're like a proper geezer," but I'm not. It's all up front. Underneath, I'm just this poetry reading, shoeaholic. Stop heckling me, woman, or I will show you the hairy side. I am talking to my friend. Apparently, I'm being loud. Oh, it's gone. Thank fuck, she's gone now. We can be proper men.
She's off to judge somebody's cooking downstairs. It's
yeah, gone off to well, she's been nominated for an Emmy, longlisted for an Emmy, and she's been nominated for a BAFTA. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
So that's why she gives me stick. She's still mad as a broom.
When did we first meet? I think, was it Edinburgh?
Yeah, we were gigging in the yurt outside Three Sisters.
Yes.
I believe. For Connor,
yes.
Yeah, and he kept. Yeah, it was me. You. It was a few. It was Mickey Bartlett. You. There was a few of us getting roped in to that and trying to get the gig done before the football started or when it started to kick in outside, because the yurt was just a tent, wasn't it? And it's in this mad courtyard full of men, like men.
Yeah, it shouldn't work at all. Like, but I mean, you're gonna take it regardless. You're like, yeah, fine, I'll do tent. Yeah, tent, broad daylight, absolutely, in a pub yard.
Just as the sun's going down and there's no lights. Brilliant. Yeah, count me in. This character building. I think all comedians. You can't call yourself a comedian until you've done a gig where you're stood on a pallet in the back of a. Is it the back of a farm or the back of some weird pub, some weird kind of working men's club, where and they don't even put comedies on. They kind of, the promoters, the guy who runs the bar has booked it, and then you turn up and no one in there knows it's happening.
I'm getting cold chills just as you say that, going, oh fuck, at least 20 gigs just ran over my grave.
And then you rock up in your yellow Ferrari.
Who's this cunt?
yeah. It's Freddie Starr here. Freddie Starr's in the car.
Can you think? Give me one of your weirdest. So, I don't normally do this like a magazine piece, but you know what? You just have to, because I can think of about 40 fucking hellish gigs. Go on.
I'm trying to think, because they're all. I did one. I did it. It was called and I didn't get the pun until afterwards. It was the pork and cider festival, sausage and cider. That was it, sausage and cider festival. Yeah, and it was up the road, and they'd had the comedy on the Saturday, and they did really well on the Saturday. They didn't have any intervals. They just barreled through, and everyone had a really nice time. But then the promoter was saying, no, it needs to be longer. We need to have intervals and this and that and the other. And you're like, well, that won't work. Everyone will fuck off. So anyway, we did it. So first guy goes on, Leo Kerr, Scottish guy. You know Leo.
Yeah.
And he goes on. The tent's packed. And fucking smashed it, absolutely smashed it. And we were at the back of the room going, oh, this is going to be a good gig. First interval, everyone leaves. Everyone, the whole tent just empties out. Like, oh, fine. So then we struggle through the middle act. I don't know who he was. I don't know where. I've never seen him before or since. He had a saxophone in a case, and he didn't even, he just had it in this case. And I was backstage behind the curtain, and I can hear everyone just fucking off. He was doing weird things with puppets and sticks, and everyone left. And then this one woman poked her head round the back of the curtain to us. Like, she walked past the stage with this fella on, and she's just gone, you should be fucking ashamed of yourselves. And then she... and I'm like... Oh, this gets better. So I'm closing the tent, and there's nobody there. There's Justin Panks is emceeing. There's no one in the tent, and they're like, "Well, you've got to go on. You got to earn your money." And there's no one here. Anyway, I look out. There's this one Asian dude down the right at the back of the tent, and he's sitting there like this. And I'm like, "Well," so I walked out, and I'm on stage to this, and he's at the back, and this is like a 200-seat tent, and he's right at the back doing this. And I'm chatting away, and I was about 5 minutes in, and I went, "Mate, this is shit." He went, "No." He goes, "I want comedy." I went, "Well, George Michael is on." Oh, it was like a tribute act. It was on in the other town. Why don't we all go and watch George Michael? He's like, no, I want comedy. I'm like, well, why don't you come to the front? He's like, no. I'm doing a gig to this one dude at the back of the tent, and I just, and it just, and I still didn't get paid. The promoter, as always with these things, the promoter just fucking folded everything up and fucked off. Yeah. There's been a few like that, but it's character building. It makes you,
That's what they say.
Yeah. I mean, even though now I mentioned strange gigs to you, and you just went, "Oh, yeah." There was this time. What's the worst one of yours?
I'm trying to decide. Right, it's always in places where comedy shouldn't be. Do you know what I mean? It's never a comedy club. It's always some fucking place or somebody like the traditional. Blokes looking up, the racing is on the telly over your head. Who's that cunt? Yeah. Come out of the fucking way. And this is normally, but the most bizarre. I did one for the police college, the main police college here in Ireland. We'd be here all night if I had to describe the intricacies of why I shouldn't have been there and how they crowbarred me between a charity check that was being handed for this really sick kid. And like a band were there ready to go. Come on, we got to fucking go on. I'm going, I've got to title some dick jokes. But the strangest one, I got booked to do a gig. I was doing a club down in Cork, and the lady that was booking, she went, "I have another gig if you could get down a bit earlier." I went, "Lovely." Now she had a club, so the club was always lovely. I get down there, and she goes, "It's like this suburban village. It's just a satellite village off Cork City." And she's in this hall, and I used to live near this place. I'd never heard of this hall. I was like, where the fuck is it? Finally get there in this nice little park that you'd never go to, this beautiful hall. I show up and I go, what the fuck is this? And she's kind of sniggering outside the door. And my missus is with me. And I swear to God, it's like she knows she's got the spidey sense to show up to the most fucked up gigs. Like,
yeah.
She starts chuckling. She goes, "I just got a feeling, Tom, this is going to be some bag of shit." And when we met the promoter, she's at the door, she's chuckled away. She goes, "Look, it's an extra £100 if you want to do 10-15 minutes, and then we'll shoot straight back into town." I went, "What the fuck is this?" And I walk in, and it's 250 blue rinse ladies of the ICA, which is the Irish Country Women's Association of Ireland, where knitting, darning, and the like is spoken about. Just before I went on stage, there was a brother and sister group of spoon players playing. Rich, they fucking destroyed. They killed.
Oh, I love it.
I didn't want him to end. And I went up and I said something inappropriate, like, you know, I know you're looking, thinking, who ordered the shit stripper? It was a shitty joke. I just thought we'd say something, point the elephant out in the room that I shouldn't be here. It didn't go over their heads. It hit them square in the forehead, and they did not like it.
It just hit them in the forehead, dropped to the floor, and they stared at it.
And they knitted a tea cozy to go under it.
Yeah, cover it up, a doily. Just like, yeah, get rid of that shit.
How I knew I was done. I was supposed to do like 15, 20 minutes for some fucking reason. But I knew I was done, just dying on my hole. But there was a family of banjo players to come on after me. And the 7-year-old walked up to the side of the stage and just kind of showed me his banjos and said, do you want to fuck off?
Not even one of the grown-ups, the kid.
He saved me, and I basically went, "Oh, please welcome to the stage this little redneck," and just walked away. Just put the microphone in the mic stand and ran, ding, 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 and they just wiped the slate clean. The hard drive was gone, and they were straight into The Devil Went Down to Georgia. It was unbelievable.
It's I don't know. It's always one person who's into comedy that really wants to be part of the scene, and they're like, really. There's something in them. They want to be a comedy promoter, but they've got this room. They normally do. They think, they don't think that Gladys and her mates are gonna. They think, oh no, I like this. You'll like this. I did a gig for a Crown Green Bowls club, and I get there. It's for like bowling, like the old So I've got there, and then it was an awards night. So they said, oh, you do a bit of stand up, and then we'll do the awards, and you can give out the awards and have a bit of a laugh while you're doing it. I went, all right, cool. So we do the awards, and I'm running between the tables, and I'm like, who's that? Your shit. They got more awards than you have. It's getting nothing. They're just staring at me like just this mad fucker running around in between the tables. I think I'm being all Robin Williams and just like, hey, zany. And then she went, right, what we'll do, we finished the awards. I went, all right. I said, when do you want me to do the stand-up bit? And she said, well, we'll start the disco. And I went, wait. Yeah, exactly. I don't need to finish that sentence. Did you know how people are when they start dancing? They want a break in the middle for a fat bloke to start talking about singing.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was a good one. That was for family. That was my cousin. And they said, will you come and do it? And I went, as it's you, I'll do it for like 100 quid or something. I'll do it for 100 quid in a room in a hotel, as it's you. And it was, they gave me the 100 quid. Like, honestly, it was like I prized it out of their dead grandmother's mouth. They just hated me. I'd really let them down. We'll start with this go. Oh, fucking Jesus.
Yeah, and it still always puzzles me when you hear lads going, yeah, no, I just got booked to do a wedding. And you're like, but you don't do what the fuck are you going to do at a wedding?
What are you doing? I've been asked to do a few weddings, and I always price myself out. Anyone ever says, oh, can you do my wedding? I go, yeah, $5,000. And they're like, what? Yeah, $5,000. And no one ever says, yeah. No one. The best story I heard is Bob Mills. I don't know if you've heard this story.
No.
He did a gig, and this fella comes up and he goes, oh, my dad is a really massive fan of you. Will you come to he's having a birthday party. Will you come as a guest to the birthday party? Will you come and do a bit of stand up and, really make his day? He's a huge fan of yours. And, Bob Mills is like, yeah, all right, then I'll do that. So Bob goes to this house. I don't know where it is. It's miles away from where he lives. and he walks in. and the dad goes, that's not Cracker. He thought it was Robbie Coltrane. Can you imagine that? I think Bob stayed and did the gig anyway.
Fuck.
Yeah, imagine. God almighty. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
But there's still something about it. Even those shitty gigs, there's still something that makes us do it again. Like we go, oh, that was horrendous. And then something happens to you in the car. And you kind of, I don't know, like you said, you reset. and then you sort of forget about the pain. And then someone goes, "Do you want to do this?" You go, "Yeah, go on then." And it'll be in another shitty bottom of a staircase in a supermarket or some shit. And you go, "Yeah, where's the?" "Oh, it's on a moving bus." And none of the passengers are going to know that there's comedy. You're just going to stand up in front of them and start talking. And we go, "Yeah, fine."
I think there has to be a level of masochism in it some which way. There has to be. Like you just punish yourself because you'll still, it's the same like when you have an absolute smasher of a gig, you'll still spot that fucking straight-faced fucker sitting 10 rows back going, "Who's that? What the fuck is..." And that'll be the one person that'll come up to you afterwards and go, "I really like that." You're like, "What?"
Yeah. Didn't laugh all night and all I could see was you. Like Damo Clark did a really good cartoon.
Yeah.
You see it, and he said, like, so you've got what the people seeing is all these people, big crowd, and he said what the comedian sees, and there's no crowd, it's just this one angry face, and it's funny, isn't it, that we do zero in on that every time. It's I don't know what it is. There is a bit of a masochistic streak.
Yeah, I think we can't accept full levels of happiness either. I don't know what it is because you'd hear musicians going, "Yeah, well, I'm the greatest of all time," like, and almost. You won't hear a comedian go, "I'm the greatest of all time." They'll go, "Well, no, there was that." And "Yeah, fuck it, I filled an arena. What's the big deal?" You're like,
I've seen comics come off stage, headliners come off stage, and someone's come up to them and go, "Oh, mate, you were brilliant." And they've gone, "Yeah, but I said that the wrong way. And then I got that. That's not normally how that goes. And then that word was," and I'm like, just say thanks. Just say thank you. But we can't. We start telling them something that they didn't even notice.
I watched Bill Burr give out about his set at we did the Vodafone comedy festival a couple of years ago, and I'd been drinking with Joe DeRosa a couple of days because we just hit it off or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'd seen Burr do what Burr does. He absolutely fucking took a blowtorch to this fucking, incredible. Fucking smashed it. And he comes in, sits down, and he says, fuck it, I need a drink. And drink came down to me. I went, "Well, hello, Mr. Bill Burr." That was fucking brilliant. And he was like, but it fucking wasn't. There was light coming in, and that went to shit. No, you absolutely fucking killed for 45 minutes. Went, fuck it, I have to get drunk now. And he just...
Wow. It's funny, isn't it? Even on that level, there's still that element of, doubt, and it's never good enough. And, oh, man, I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? I think I can handle it a bit better because I used to, I didn't start comedy till I was 32. So I've had proper jobs, proper jobs. I had kids when I was 20. So I had I've had the life that you're supposed to have before I got into comedy. So that kind of keeps me grounded, keeps my feet on the ground, makes me go, this is still a privilege to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
No, sorry, go on, go ahead.
No, go on. I was going to say, how are you finding parenthood? With your,
Yeah, he's 11 months. I'm fine again because I'm late. I'm 37. Do you know what I mean? So, and this is our first child. So at this stage, it's like, I think I'm ready. I mean, I knew you had 2 kids, but I didn't know how old they were. And you put up a picture of, was it Bailey the other day? He was like 23. I went,
he's 23. Yeah, my other one's 28.
Fuck me, Rich. Like what was it like having children at that age? Like you were younger than them.
Yeah, I was 19 when I met their mum. And she was I was 19, she was 21, and she was pregnant a month after I met her.
Yeah, she was.
Right, and we just went, well, this is going all right. We have a kid, and I'm like, yeah, go on then. I mean, later on, the resentment and the hatred came, but initially there was love, and I think it was 2 years we lasted until we were like, I fucking hate you. And then we spent the 90s we spent getting back together and breaking up, and then so like the year 2000 we went, this is shit. And I think we were lying in bed, and she's like, either you leave or I'm going to put a hammer between your eyes. I'll get me stuff.
Did she specify the hammer? I mean...
No, And it would have. The only hammer I can remember being around was a claw hammer. I mean, and that's no one wants that, do they? You know,
No.
that's let's just go our separate ways. We don't need to have murder. So we're good mates now. Which is cool. But I love seeing your videos. There was a video you put up, and you had sort of babies in. I think the babies. Yeah, it's in a pouch in front of you, and you were running. I can't remember what you were doing. You were going from one room to the other, just dicking around, and your videos are amazing. You really make me laugh.
Good, yeah. Because I just can't. I can't take social media seriously. I can't. I think if I want to say something serious, I'll just go and fucking talk to somebody. But the days that I just can't do it. There'll be moments where I go, I should say, and I'll go, yeah, and I look at all my other pictures of me just with a stupid face or making up, like, because the second the child was born, in my head I went, I need to make him a funny enemy of me, and him and the dog are going to collaborate.
Yeah.
And I get way more pleasure from that than fucking going, do you know what's a disgrace? It's the Minister for Children. It's not he's fucking black hair, and that's not right. You know, it's like,
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, you're the one. You really nailed the filters on Instagram. Most people can't. They dick around, but they become these characters. There's you got the filthy mum cracking onto the young lad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that like goth looking mum. That's really fucking. And there's one of them I still watch to this day. It's a couple of years old now. Big eyes and I showed Jade last night because I said, I'm doing a podcast with Tom. And she who's Tom? And I showed her. And I showed her the video and she went, nah. She says, he seems like a nice man, but I don't find that funny. And I went, see you later. And then that was it. She doesn't like silly. I do. I think silly's great.
Yeah. I know the one because you've actually mentioned it. You've actually commented on any time because I put it up, and I put it up once just for you. I said, this is for Rich Wilson. It was. I think it's just me looking to camera like, fucking dying from the beer, and it's just.
That was it. And that was the one I showed her, and she went, I don't get it. What do you mean you don't get it? It's just funny. What's the point? I mean, there's no point to it. It's just silly. There's something about it that really, I'm cracking up just thinking about it. It's very good.
But it's when you see those filters on Snapchat or whatever, and for me, it's not that I'm any kind of a genius, but when you put that face on you, it's like, well, of course. And I always find the first thing that comes out of your mouth is the silliest. And
yeah, if you're not thinking about it, just bang. Yeah.
But like I used to be a very serious fucker back in the day when I worked in construction and stuff because I was a civil engineer. I was ridiculously serious. But
really?
I've channeled the psycho that was working in construction into silly. And that's all it's become. It's just become psycho levels of silly. And it can be too much sometimes, like, you know what I mean, to live with. Like.
Yeah, I can imagine your missus must just be rolling her eyes occasionally. Just feed the baby. and you're running around going, oh, we're going in this room now. And it's like, just fucking feed it.
Pretty fucking much.
Brilliant.
You're a man of style, though. I like because I've noticed you put up the odd picture of a car, and I'm like, that's a fuck. Like you put up a Capri or whatever one day, and that's a bloke with an eye for style. And you always have nice glasses. Your hair is fucking great. Was style always a thing? It
was. I think I got into the mod scene around the early. Well, I was into Oasis right the way through the 90s.
And you the hair and all the.
Yeah. I had that. I had that for 10 years, and no one told me it didn't suit me. No disrespect to it was a guy called Steve, a brilliant, a lovely man, and he had this mod club. So I met him, and then I said dance around at this mod club, and then someone said, oh, he cuts everybody's hair in here. I'm like, oh, I want that haircut, and so he sorted me out, and I'm walking around going, I'm the fucking Mac Daddy, I'm cool. And then one day, about 10 years later, I cut it off and had a bit of a quiff, and everyone went, you look fucking great, you. Quite a good-looking man. I went, well, what about the hairstyle? No, you look like a cunt. 10 years. 10 years.
So 10 years you're walking around fucking having it. And
Years, I thought I was Liam Gallagher. I remember doing it. I just seen Oasis at Wembley, and then the next night I was at the Comedy Cafe in East London, and I turned up, and Wayne, the manager, he just said, he goes, they're proper rowdy in here tonight. It was one of those ones. There was a table down to the left, and the table down to the left was always the cunts table. I don't know why, but it always brought out the worst in everybody. And they went, they're proper rowdy tonight. He goes, you're really going to have to get stuck in. And he gave me 2 mojitos at the top of the gig before I'd even started. So I'm like, all right, so I'm down them. And I because I'm still in Oasis mode, having seen them the night before, I walked out on stage and I just went like that. And this voice just went, get on with it, you cunt. So yeah.
To be fair, you would have said the same thing. Come on, Tiff.
Oh, fucking yeah. Who's this bellend? Yeah, it would have been. I absolutely deserved it.
I remember I was in it's funny you say I think it might have been to the left. It was the Comedy Cafe, and I was wound up already because I'd gotten a little early, and I was chatting. I said I went across the road for a coffee, and there was a bloke. This is how hipster fucking short it is. There's a guy.
Yeah.
There's a guy with a fucking modified old typewriter, which is cool, but he had it modified to the point that he could put his iPad in where the ribbon would be, and all the keys came up and typed his. I wanted to take the whole thing, Rich, and shove it down, make him eat every key, just fucking every bit of it. Go.
Do it alphabetically. D.
So I was fucking wound up from that, and then the guy on stage, he made a complete balls of my surname. He just couldn't say. I don't know. He says, "So how do I say O'Mahony?" I says, "Exactly how you said it." Okay, I have it right. Okay, it's now O'Mahony if you want, but no, we say. He went up and he called me Mahogany or something. I went, looks at it. Look at this cunt. And I walked up, and there was a guy. He kind of fucking ruffled it, and he had his the big fucking man spread going on. He's like, he was giving it. I said, and what the fuck are you looking at? You walked in here with fucking flip-flops, you cunt. Look at you. I take them off and beat you to fucking death with it. And then I realised everybody else was in the room. And then I explained exactly. I said, I apologise, but I kind of fucking don't. You're in public in London, one of the fucking most congested cities in the world, wearing fucking flip-flops, you asshole. You should have steel toe caps.
Wearing fucking flip-flops on a night out.
Cunt. But I explained that. I explained the whole typewriter situation, and you can see people going, fair enough, Tom. Yeah.
On you go, lad. On you go. I think I've always been interested in clothing and cars and architecture and I just like stuff. I like looking at thing like a building, go, fuck, how did they imagine that? How did that come to be? How did that, you watch, like, there's a lot of buildings in London, like the old buildings I love, like when you're walking around old cities and you're like, fuck, that's how they chiseled that. That took them 100 years to chisel that church, and that blows my mind. I love the workings and how it, and clothing as well, how they put stuff together, and cars as well. I love to see, like you said, old cars are really. What I love are they look really old and battered on the outside, and underneath they're all brand new.
Yeah. Resto mods, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, with the patina and so they look like a piece of shit, but they go like the clappers, and I really like that. But I've just always been into where just especially getting into comedy. People have paid money to come and see you. And if you see some people that look like they've just got out of bed, and you're like, well, it's a bit insulting, really.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I remember the early doors. There was who was it? I think it was Barry Murphy. I don't know if you ever came across him. He plays characters on TV and stuff like that. But he pulled me aside. I showed up in a t-shirt one night, and he said, "You have great potential, Tom." He said, "But you got to look like you're one of the performers. You can't rock in here looking like that, man. You know what I mean?" And it was a valid point. He says, "No, I'm not talking all. You don't have to be spangly jackets and that shit, but just look like you're the bloke that could be going on stage, not the bloke that's going to be pulling the pints. You know?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember reading an interview with James Brown, and the guy who was doing the interview, and he said, and James Brown turned up, and he was still in this immaculate 3-piece purple suit, and he was properly James Brown, and he sat down, and he said, and it was quite an informal meeting, and he just said, "Oh, you look great, James. This is have you been to a gig or you doing something?" He goes, no. He goes, it just shows respect to the person that I've come to meet. If I just turn up looking, in my pajamas, then it's disrespectful. You're expecting James Brown, so I'm here, James Brown. I mean, he knocked women around as well, but don't worry about that.
He grew up in a whorehouse. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
Swings and roundabouts. Tell us about your podcast then, because it's award-winning, Rich. Fucking award-winning, man.
Yeah, we're doing all right. It's called Insane in the Membrane, and when I started it, I didn't really know what it was going to be about. I just wanted to do a podcast, as everybody does, but it just sort of on its own organically became this. I realised it was more about it was about fellas talking about how they feel and how they cope with things, because as we've already said earlier, we meet like proper men, and you and I will just go, and we'll try and be proper men because we're insecure. Whereas what we should be going is the guy we're trying to impress is probably more insecure than we are, which is why he's this shut down dinosaur that's never cried in his life. Not even when his dad passed away in his arms, it's like, he had a good innings. Good on you. And it just sort of organically came from that, so it's like mental health is the jumping off point. But as soon as you say the words mental health, people just go, this shit again. But it's more about blokes talking to each other about stuff they've been through and how they cope with it. And it's going really well. I've had Heston Blumenthal on and David Baddiel, and it's been good. Yeah.
I've listened to a few of them, and I wouldn't have guessed, had I not known the name, I wouldn't have guessed they were about mental health. But there was something very liberating in listening to it. It wasn't just gunning after this. It was you're having the chats. But I just found the lads you must have a very kind of a very nice approach or whatever to just kind of open the pockets of emotion, because you could see like even Heston is going, bleh,
Yeah, I think it's because I never, when I was growing up, I wasn't very honest. I wasn't really honest about how I felt, especially in relationships. I was always, if I wasn't happy in the relationship, I wouldn't tell the person or talk to the person. I'd end up cheating and mucking around and being a bit sneaky, and instead of, I didn't want to. It's not notches on the bedpost. Oh, look at me, I'm a legend. It was because I wasn't happy, but I didn't know how to deal with it, so I ended up upsetting loads of people. And then one day I had counselling, and then I realised I just really love being honest, and it's been a real eye-opener for me. That the buzz that I get when someone says I'm reliable and I'm honest and I'm trustworthy, it's amazing. I've never had that before, and I think that's what comes out on the podcast. I'm honest about things. I talk about what I've done and the fact that I've been a bit of a cunt. I've been a top boy. I've been a bit of a cunt. It's the same as all people. We can all be cunts at times.
Was there a handbrake moment, or was it like, or was it that counselling? Like, was it over a period of time where going, Richie, you need to stop being a cunt and be more honest and just nip shit in the bud and fucking get it out there? You know what I mean? Or was there a handbrake moment where you went, fuck me, what am I doing?
It was I was married. I was married for a bit to a wonderful woman. And I fucked that up. I take complete responsibility for that. And it was that I kind of went, what am I doing? I've been really lucky enough to I've been in relationships with some really wonderful people, and I have upset every single one of them. None of them deserved it. I hadn't dealt with stuff from my childhood. I hadn't dealt with stuff. So I ended up upsetting these beautiful people, and I didn't want to do that anymore. These people didn't deserve it. They loved me, and I shit all over them. And that was the turning point. I was like, I've got to stop this, because fundamentally, I think I'm a nice person, but I wasn't acting like that. I was being a cunt, and I needed to stop it.
I've always thought that something like that needs to be, should almost be a class in school, shouldn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Talking men, because this has come up a lot lately. We're animals, aren't we? Human beings are animals, basically. And men, especially men have, I don't know if you, but most men, when we meet someone, we subconsciously, all these thoughts like ping into your head. Like you meet someone, you go, do I find this person attractive? Do I want to have sex with this person? Do I want to eat this person? Do I want to kill this person? And this all happens in like split second. And then your human brain just goes, hang on a minute. Wait. That's not what we do. What we do is that we say hello and we get to know this person and we're nice to this person. But a lot of men don't. There's a lot of men that don't have that. They don't know how to handle the beast that's in them. And so they slide into women's DMs at 3 a.m. and they creep about and they touch women and when they shouldn't, and because they haven't been told how to look, how to be in public. They don't know, and that's what should be taught in schools, is how to, because your penis is an animal and it just drags you around until it gets tired.
It's funny. I did a one-man play last year called Defending the Caveman, and it's a long-running play. It's been everywhere, been in 40 odd countries and stuff. So, but they allow you to kind of rewrite it for the Irish market and update it too, But a lot of the stuff that was it's a comedy throughout, and a lot of it is very stand-up-y, albeit, you do have to learn somebody else's words, and there is props and there's a staging and stuff like that. So that was crowbarring. Oh yeah, I'm an actor now. Yeah, sure I am. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff in it. It's more of a play for women, actually, really, in that it's explaining this. We're both sound, but this is why we are the way we are. And we should try and fucking change that, meet each other on the middle ground. And a lot of the men's, I thought it was just written out of humour. But when I started to look into it, it's fucking true. Basically what he was saying was the reason why blokes, now it's a 2-hour play, and a lot of the reason why blokes don't talk at all is because for the longest millennia, long before fucking revolution of any fucking machinery or anything, men, it was dangerous to fucking talk because you were doing all the hunting, and hunting might last 4 days out of a fucking 7-day week. There was no fucking talking. You quite literally eye contact, and that was about it. Shut the fuck up, or nobody's eating.
Yeah,
nobody's eating. Yeah. Where women were gatherers, and that they had to be able to, and it's been proven their brains can work better in that sense, is that they have to be able to decipher a bunch of different things that won't kill them, different colours, and fucking do it thousands of times throughout a day, because they might need 10,000 berries for the village, People think, that was just a few years. That was a 10-year period back. And I got it off the fucking 18. It wasn't. It was fucking forever versus
Yeah, but we don't have these conversations. We don't, nobody wants to admit that they have these weird thoughts in their heads. When they're walking down the street and they go, oh, she's nice. Just that split second, oh, he's attractive. Or, wherever turns you on, it's those animal instincts hit you all the time, every second of every day. You're constantly fighting that beast. It's like, oh, I just want to fuck. You just want to, like Joe Rogan does in his last stand-up show. You could have a guy in isolation from the day he's born, and then one day you just show him a picture of a naked woman against a glass. It's like, oh, I just want to fuck, and he's like, how do you know? Just want to fucking fuck, and that's what's in us. That's why men, I think a lot of men, they just grab, don't they? They grab women, or they grab men, whoever they're attracted to. They just grab them.
I think it's going to smoothen out, though, I think, because our dads didn't know to tell us that. But
no.
Definitely you can. What I do love about children, because I know nothing about children. I didn't grow up around them. We weren't in the neighborhood. We were country folk. You know what I mean? Everybody was my fucking age. We were growing up to, So this has been a learning curve. And watching the raw emotion, when he fucking wants something, there's no, oh, fuck, I wonder, should I ask him? There's nothing. It's here, grub, now.
Hey!
And I'll never forget, I was teaching, they were just shortened versions of movies, and it was for this, they were, a special is the wrong word, but you know what I mean? There were people with learning difficulties. We made short versions of movies, and we filmed them, full fucking HD, the whole lot, and we put on a big gala night called the Oscars. They all came along, and they were like 7-minute versions of Rocky, and a bunch more. And they really wanted to do Sister Act. So I stripped sister act down to like 7 minutes. And one of the chaps, he became the Monsignor, and he had like 3 lines. So we had a quick little read through of the script. Is everybody okay? And in an everyday environment, if you weren't happy with your role, Rich, and you'd only got, but it was, you know, a thing for the group, you go, fucking, you go home to Jade, and you go, that cunt, he fucking gave me 3 fucking lines. And that would dig in like a fucking knot in your stomach. And you'd still say nothing. And you'd go and you'd get fucked up on the night, and you might come up and collar me, go, why do you only give me 3? No, this chap nipped it in the bud because he didn't have that handbrake in his because he was a chap with learning difficulties, or so they say. He was 100% honest. He stood up, 6'2" this fucker was. He stood up and he went, hey, Tom, I'm not a bit fucking happy with this, in front of everybody. And he started to make a go for me. Like, I went, oh, Jesus, what do I don't know. And like the guy, the chap who's basically organised the whole thing, he's like an inter-county Dublin footballer, and he's like 6'4", thank God. So he stood in front of me, like, oh, no, Shane, it's okay. Tom, could you give him another fucking line? I'm like, absolutely. And again, your man was like, you fucking want to. So everything that would be in our head was on the surface with this guy. And I actually kind of walked away loving it. You know, I was going, that's fucking cool. He hid nothing. Man. He hid nothing.
Fucking great to be more like that, wouldn't it? Just the way of doing it. Let me just put a light on. 2 seconds. Hold on. I realise it. Yeah, there we are. You realise, it would be much easier if we could say to each other, look, I'm not happy with what you just did. You know, you're my mate and I love you, but you're a bit of a prick then. And we go, yeah. But we're so locked in, and we're so worried about offending or upsetting, and so we all get and then there's pride, and then there's ego, and then there's shame. It's just a fucking mess. And then we go, I just won't deal with any of this. I'll just top myself. You know. And that's. Yeah, if men just need to open up a little bit more.
I think they will, though, and I think people are getting, because about 2 years ago, my primary school, my junior school, the new principal. Now, I went to, this is a ridiculously country school, but in the 80s, like, there was still corporal punishment going on, even though it'd been outlawed for years. Nowhere else. None of my mates remember. They were like, "Fuck off! You did not get beaten." I said, "Damn right I did." But the only thing I will say, Rich, is that I was that kind of a kid that I was like, come on, bitch. Come on. Fucking give it. But she lit me up on a daily basis with a bamboo cane, you know, and I had images of that school, this dark, drizzly, fucking dreary shithole of a place. And this new school principal, she'd had my sister give a talk there a couple of years previous. She's like, well, your sister did it. Would you mind giving out? I think there were some awards and whatever. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, go back to this shithole now. And I got there, and it was this beacon of just loveliness. It was so bright, all the kids, because we were all running around like mad fucking crazy lorries, just biting each other and savages, just because we didn't know what to do. You know, we were just fucking wild. And, you know, it was all, there's almost a reason for that teacher beating me for, you know what I mean? I was like a ferret, you know, but I got in there and all these kids were coming up, like 4-year-olds, shaking my hand, like, thank you for coming. I'm like, what? What the fuck? Who are all these really nice, well-rounded kids? Who are all these fucking, you know, we were all warped in the head. These kids.
Well, there was always the threat of violence was all around us. It was at home, and it was in, you know, I mean, I'm a bit older than you, but when I was a kid, at any moment you could get a clip round the ear from anyone, the policeman, the milkman, and then you go like, oh, the milkman just clipped me around the ear, and you go, well, what did you do?
Yeah.
You know, I was kicking the milk bottles over. Well, then there you go. That's what happened.
Well, even talking with my mother-in-law, she called over today, and they were talking, because he's ridiculously strong. Our child Fionn, he's at it, like he's got that fucking farmer strength already. You can see it, like he's just busting shit. And they're going, no, a 10-month-old shouldn't be able to do that. And I'm like, I warned you. I fucking warned you. Because she has 2 brothers, but they're city boys and they're soft. They're you know, very smart lads, but they weren't that freakish brute strength. I warned you. This is, and she went, well, you know, what can you do? I said, well, we just talked to him about that. He can't just wreck shit. But right now, he doesn't even know he's wrecking shit. He's just having a good old time. You know, He's like a
Just
drunk.
putting up trees by
Yeah.
the root.
He's that drunk friend at a party who's not hurting anybody, but he's just over, just being a bit of it. And you'll tell him about it tomorrow, and tomorrow will be a year's time, but I said it, I goes, yeah, but I said, when I was a kid, I can remember maybe 7 or 8 years of age. And when my friend climbed on top of like a barn, I think it was like, this is 70 foot in the air, and I can remember his mother coming out and going, come fucking down, come down. Come down, I'm going to beat the shit out of the two of you. And you got to then slide down the side, climb down this fucking thing, knowing you're on the way to... And she did. Yeah. She beat the fucking arses off the two of us. And of course, I went home, big sorry head me. And she's like, well, I knew there was no point in going inside and telling my mother, because she might light me up as well.
Yeah.
There would definitely be no sympathy, for sure.
No.
There was no sympathy, because every mother in the area had martial law, because...
It's just how it was. It's just how it was. And I know saying that and people go, yeah, but it's wrong. I go, yeah, it was wrong. You shouldn't hit kids. But most of the time, like you say, we were running around mad as lorries. We were just we were pumped full of sugar, especially when I was a kid. It was the 70s. I didn't have mayonnaise until I was 22. It was just shit. It was just sugar, different coloured sugar.
That was it. That was just, and good quality shit too. E numbers all over it. You're just going, fucking ram it into me.
Oh, look, it's alien food. Everything was brown and boiled. And you'd have your veggies with your Sunday roast, but then that was it. It was, the rest of the time, all bets were off. There was no nutrition. It was just, I remember, bread never went off. It goes blue in a couple of days now. But when I was a kid, you'd have this loaf of bread, and it'd be sat on the table with the knife and the butter for a week. It would never go off.
That's true. Yeah, it never fucking went off. Yeah.
Madness is madness. But I think that's why I'm short.
Yeah, I'm blaming that too. Yeah. That's why I'm short. Yeah. It's the shitty bread.
Bread and Smarties for dinner. So it was, though. It was, I'll tell you, in Ireland, I remember being in Ireland in 1982, and my dad was he was customs and excise. I remember we were driving around in this grey van with no windows in the sides of it, and because we were camping, so we were driving around, and we went to Enniskillen and all around there. And we got stopped every 10 minutes, by the soldiers. I remember getting to, and we went to Enniskillen, and then it was I think it was about a month later, they blew up the police station in Enniskillen. It was then, mad time. But my one memory of Ireland the most, because I was only a kid, your toffos were incredible. Yeah, they were like a toffee little. Yeah, there was about 10 of them in a packet.
Yeah,
these little toffees called toffos, and they were better than the English ones. And I was like, and I used to say to Mum and Dad, "Can we go back to Ireland and have toffos?"
I love the notion of like a hardened, fucking chiseled, fucking soldier pulling over this van. Can we have a look in the back? And look, go on, look in the back, and there's just Baby Rich fucking chewing the gums off himself. All right.
Hello? But yeah, I do remember that, driving around. I spoke to Michael Smiley about all this, because he grew up in Belfast, and so he knew, he had, so he knew all about the troubles in it. I don't know. Was you affected by anything like that? Like,
no,
younger.
No, not even the youth thing. I mean, I was born in 81, so it was. But even still, because we were so south, it may as well have been in America happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
300 miles back then, when you'd fuck all proper motorways and stuff. The furthest you went north would be the Mason-Dixon line, fucking from Dublin to Galway. You didn't bother it was fuck all else above there. It was warmer down south. You know what I mean? It was just, what the fuck are you going up there for? And so it was completely no. I probably one of the most frequent southern, I suppose, comedians that gig in the north that much. And the lads try to chat about these subjects, and it's just absolute. Our two childhoods couldn't have been more fucking different. It's ridiculous. Yeah, nothing relative to what the boys grew up with. They're going, yeah, did you get stopped? I'm like, no. There was, I think I knew of one soldier, and that was it. He was just a carpenter in the army. That was it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I tell you what, I've been to one times, and like I said earlier, I absolutely love it. I went to a Catholic wedding, and I didn't know much about Catholicism.
Yeah,
they go on for a week, and there was me and a couple of other comics, Jared Christmas and some others, and we were sat there. And there's a bit right in the middle of the wedding. It's been going on for ages anyway, and no disrespect to anyone watching this. We were sat there, and then it said, was it God be with you? So everyone in the congregation said, God be with you, God be with you, God be with you. But we couldn't hear what they were saying. We thought it was like an interval. So we just thought everyone was like catching up. So Jared, so we start chatting away. And we were like, how you doing? Yeah, not seen you for ages. No, this is corny. Yeah, it's really nice to see everyone. And then we looked, and Keith Carter was the groom, and he's looking, and he's like, we're like, what? And then we look at the priest, and the priest is just giving us fucking daggers, man. He's just like, he was gonna come and punch us. We were just, and we're like, oh yeah. And then at the dinner afterwards, so we're on the top table, and then the priest comes in, and he says thank you to everybody, and he completely blanked Jared Christmas and I, because we'd been talking in the church. Just really fucking ghosted us, man. Yeah.
Well, how long ago was that?
That would have been 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
Right.
And it was in a village up in, not Donegal. I can't remember where it was. It was up towards Northern Ireland, but not right in. It was just before you get over the border.
Yeah.
Proper. Yeah. And it was really.
They do. They take it, like, I think up there they take, because they have their two teams, you know what I mean? They have their two teams. They take either one or the other super serious. It's even lads were, again, some of the boys are talking to me about, like, you know, Catholicism, like, but, you know, because there's, what? No, well, trust me, we were the light version. We like, if we went to mass and there happened to be a football game on the telly, the priest was going, okay, so we know Man United are kicking off at 7:35. We are wrapping this baby up. Let's go. Right. And he would have that shit wrapped up. And that was it. He'd have it. Sports always took over religion. He'd be like, okay. And he's just pulling off the vestments. Good luck. See you next week.
Yeah. Just gone. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And I'll never forget, accidentally, we just said, because we were getting married and stuff, and my wife says, you know, we should probably, because, you know, and the priest was coming up from home. He's cool cat. The guy wears Hugo Boss suits, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, I'll marry you, but let's do our own. We did our own style, you know, that kind of way. It was more, it was nearly more of a blessing than anything else, like. But we said we better go to a mass, see what the fucking crack is, because, you know. And we were living in the city centre at the time, and there's a church right around the corner. Walked up, not realizing that it was a full-on, like, we're talking all the steroids mass, Latin. Oh my Jesus! And we had got I unbelievable. Like it was like, you know, another way it was like they were trying to outdo the Presbyterians, because Presbyterians take that shit really seriously too. So like whole families of the whitest people you've ever seen, like, were just standing there with their Pringle jumpers, and they knew every word. And we stood there like two assholes for 2 hours, 10 minutes. Yeah, so Tommy. It was.
And you're in there then, you can't.
I said it to our priest. He was like, Jesus Christ, why did you go? You know?
Even the priest is blaspheming. Jesus.
That's fucking heavy weather, isn't it? Jeez, tell him to tone it down a bit.
So you're not religious then, really?
You know what I mean? It's nice to know about a thing, but no, and almost nobody is really in Southern Ireland. It just take it quite seriously in Northern Ireland, I think, because it's more of a us versus them kind of a thing. But no, not really. It was nice when you when you celebrate your communion and your confirmation at like 7, and you get lots of money off uncles and fucking cousins, and you get to wear a nice suit. You look like a little snooker player for the day. It's great.
Oh man, beautiful though. It is a beautiful place. Very.
Yeah. Next time you come over, I'll show you the proper Ireland. You can have a proper cut off. Yeah.
That'd be cool, man. Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be great.
But I'm insisting you have to bring Jade in a grey van with no windows on the side.
We got stopped every 10 minutes, man. Just all the time. Surrounded soldiers with guns and just like you say, there's just two little kids in the back, like just it's action, man. You know, it was a funny fucking time. Yeah, but I can't imagine what it must have been like to live with that. You know, I know that Keith Carter's now ex-wife, when she first met me, she was really weird around me. She just couldn't, and I'm like, "Is your missus all right?" And he went, "It's because of your accent." He goes, "Because of the soldiers in her village. They're all from the southeast of England, and they all sound like you." So they'd be walking to school, and these soldiers are going, "Oh, get your tits out," and all that shit. And so she meets me, and she thinks, yeah. So it brings back all that mad shit from when she was a kid.
Yeah. So you think you had a hairy upbringing? Like, I mean, talk with chaps now that grew up throughout the 80s in that shit, and they get into comedy or whatever, and they've got a twisted soul from their childhood, because you're being intimidated by grown-ass men with fucking machine guns. You're like, the worst I had was fucking, Teresa up the road fucking maybe giving me a slap around the head. That was it,
Exactly. Yeah, the worst I've had is that getting to a gig and they go, "Well, we're going to start the disco."
Oh, you beautiful man. What a great fucking, see, that's a proper way to do a comedy wrap-up. Come back with a nice callback. So
there you go.
Just your podcast name again, because people will type in membrane, but it's men's brain, isn't it? Or men brain.
Yeah, insane in the men brain. We've also got insane in the fem brain, which is me talking to the birds. Because with Jade, she said one day we were talking, and she goes, "Do you know what? You don't know as much about women as you think you do." I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I've been around. I love women. I've been around loads of women. I wouldn't be the man I am today without the women that have been in my life and all that shit." "Yeah, you're a dickhead." And so we went, "All right then." So then we've got a new spin-off where we talk to strong, powerful women about what it feels like to be a woman,
Jeez, I'll have to get my mother your fucking details.
Tell me how it feels. It's because there's one of them where I was talking about periods and the body clock and the biological clock, because I don't know what it feels like to have to deal with that imaginary clock that's ticking away somewhere, that's telling you that you've got to have kids, and now in today's society you don't have to have kids if you don't want to, and you've still got that clock going on, and so it's me just asking probably obvious questions, but I just don't know. So I'm like, yeah. So we've got insane in the membrane and insane in the fembrane. Yeah, check
Brilliant.
it out. Yeah. I really enjoy doing them. It's like this. I really enjoy talking to you. I love talking to people. So yeah, I could do this forever.
I know. But
Tom.
just, I'll come and get you. I've got the grey van outside. This isn't my house at all.
just a backdrop.
Rich Wilson, this has absolutely been beautiful. Great to chat to you again, mate. Thanks a million.
Tom, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I'll see you again.
My thanks again to the mighty Rich. Like he said, his podcasts are Insane in the Men Brain and Insane in the Fem Brain. I'll put the links down in the show notes, which are the little notes that's underneath the title of this thing. Keep an eye out for a Hard Enough podcast coming on over. Keep an eye out for either next Monday or next Thursday. I'll let you know on either Instagram, or most likely Instagram or whatever. I'll definitely tell the Patrons about it when we're going live, but you can always watch it afterwards if it doesn't get fucking blocked by RTE. So that's Buckshot Sideshow. The other ones are up there. The 3 are up there. And go look at the 4th over on Facebook. It's also over on the Twitter as well. Twitter, I had no problem with it, but fucking YouTube have allowed RT to block it. Block it. Jesus, I've worked for them bastards. But anyway, I'll let you know how the contesting goes. Please give it the 5 stars if you are listening on Apple Podcast, or at the very least share it among your friends. If you want to leave a lovely note in the review, that'd be great too. Right, children, go on away and enjoy the rest of the weekend. God bless.